Hi there, Serial Trader here. I would like to go through Bitcoin here and kind of examine what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing heading into this new year that we're in. And first takeaway, we've clearly been in a more corrective period since we made that high there on the 12th of April of 2021. Now, for a while, there was some ambiguity whether we had this larger wave 4 in place somewhere here, and that we were already working our wave 5 up. And for a while, that was starting to look pretty convincing, especially being that we were making new highs above that April high, and things were looking quite bullish. But we've had enough of a setback here, and perhaps not severe enough of a drawdown, but I think enough of a time consumption to consider, and I think even favor, that this larger wave 4 corrective period is not complete yet, or maybe it's getting close to being completed, but was not completed back there in June, as many, including myself, thought it could be. So let's go through some stuff here. Now we are on the weekly chart. We are on log scale because obviously things look very distorted with this much price movement over this period of time if you don't go to log scale. So yes, just to bring things into focus, log is certainly recommended here. So just to kind of do a recap of where this overall move is in its orientation. So we had a significant low here in December of 2018. We had an initial impulse wave up that I have labeled as a wave 1. We had a sharp 3-wave correction in a wave 2, deep wave 2, but we held the prior low, but severely challenged it, which is actually quite typical in a wave 2 to have a severe percentage retracement. Now we clearly had this third wave move up, and that was from the March 2020 lows to the April 2021 highs. And since then, we've been correcting or digesting this third wave move. Okay, so we are in the wave 4. Now, if we just look at a couple things here, so the time. So the amount of time that was corrected in wave 2, if we project that off of the wave 3 peak, that brought us to a time equality towards the end of December. So just recently we met that time equality objective. So typically wave 4 should last at least as long as the prior wave 2, and often longer. Okay, so let me just I'll leave that up there actually. Let me bring that back. Okay, so we had the time measurement, and I don't just want equality, but also some other time measurements. So we got the 1618 as well. Okay, so if wave, hang on, let me, okay, that's difficult to see. Let's try that. There we go. So this kind of pinkish line, that would be the 1618 time relationship if wave 4 consumed 1.618 times the amount of time that wave 2 did, if we're not going to end here at the equality measurement. And that would bring us to roughly, looks like early June of this year. Okay, so another 6 months or so could certainly happen. More sideways for 6 months before we finally get that big move. So I'll leave that up there. Now, as far as what pattern is wave 4 taking, well, to me, I have it down to basically two favored scenarios. One is either a contracting triangle, and where you got the A, the B. Now, here's the interesting thing about the triangle. It could be a truncated triangle if we are going to end wave 4 basically with the same amount of time consumed as wave 2. You could go A, B, and then you have a much more truncated C, D, and E. Doesn't look pretty, but technically you could have this, what's called a truncated triangle, where the initial A and B are very mismatched as far as the time duration and magnitude by the C, D, and E. I'm not going to say it's common, but it certainly has happened before, in which case we could very well be at or near the wave 4 completion and looking up in wave 5 in the coming weeks and months fairly soon here. Now, given the less than ideal look of the truncated triangle, I'm not going to lean on that too hard, and instead a more proportional look might be like something like this, right? Where we go sideways in a range for a while longer and perhaps gets us to that. In fact, this would look a little bit more proportional, wouldn't it? Gets us to that June or so time period. If we do hit that 1618 time consumption of wave 2 to actually fully complete this wave 4 correction. And now this is the triangle scenario, of course. Okay, so there's either the triangle or a variation of a triangle, or just a simple flat A down, B up, in this case B up to new highs, so we'll be looking at an expanded or running flat. And okay, so if it's a running flat, you get 5 waves down in C, although I'm not really seeing a clear 5-wave structure here, which makes me think more so that we're in the triangle scenario than the flat. But nonetheless, could possibly have the running flat where you get a C wave down, but you don't make any new extreme. And a new extreme would be, let's see here, what was the low? 29 and change. So just above 29,000 was the low. Or you could get the expanded flat where you do actually go and run those stops, make everyone think Bitcoin's going to zero if they don't already think that, and spike the lows basically, and then set your bottom, and then get your move up there after that in wave 5. So those are the 2 corrective scenarios that I'm most currently favoring. It's really impossible until it's in the rearview mirror to know which one it was with certainty. But you can be high confident that, okay, this is not what a big crash would look like, where Bitcoin is going to go way, way down or something. It doesn't have that look. This very much has the look of a sideways consolidation or correction after such an extreme move up in that third wave. Okay? So the real takeaway here, the real edge to get here is basically you can buy a Bitcoin here, or in the lower end of the range. Basically, all buys are good if you have the patience and stomach to hold on for that next impulse wave up, which I am highly confident is coming once this correction is resolved. Okay, now we can make some wave 5 price projections. Okay, now let's just pretend that we've just completed our wave 4 in this truncated triangle scenario here. And I like to be reasonably conservative. I don't want to start talking about $1 million Bitcoin and all that without any technical reason to do so. So let's get some reasonable technical targets. So the length of wave 1, and this is the log scale length, keep in mind. So if we do the length of wave 1, and if wave 4 ended here, wave 1 versus 4 equality in log scale will get us to 181,960. Sounds pretty good, right? If we were to go down, let's say in that the flat scenario, or expanded flat, where we basically go down and challenge or even break those lows in the 29s, maybe go even deeper into the 20s perhaps. So let's just say we go to the old low and stop right around that area. Okay. Let me just snap it. Wave 5 versus 1 equality in that case will get us to 125,203. So I would say, 100,000, but more likely well over that. So 120K to 180K. That's probably a good range to be targeting, but definitely 100K plus should kind of be the bottom line as far as the price projection. And as far as when this will happen, well, a lot of that has to do with how long does wave 4 take before it completes. If wave 4 is completing now, for instance, let's just pretend, today we just marked the end of wave 4. I'm not saying we did, but let's just, for pretend's sake, we'll do that. Now, if we just take the time consumed in wave 1 and project that out, hang on, let me get the time tool there. No, not that. Okay, trend. Time. Okay, so the time consumed in wave 1, and if we do end wave 4 right here, where would that bring us? Well, that would basically have us going into a nice wave 5 right now, or soon, that might peak out, say, in the summer here. Looks like, July, mid-July or so of this year. And if we go farther out in time, and say we go to the 1618 time for wave 4, and we take that measurement of wave 1 as far as duration, project off of that level, or sorry, that time point in time for wave 4 ending here, well, that would give us wave 5 potentially, going into the end of 2022, December of 2022, which kind of sounds nice because often you get major highs or lows around that time, December, January time period. So I kind of like that too. So just to put a bottom line on it, however this wave 4 ends up, completing, whatever pattern it ultimately finishes in, which currently is a bit of an unknown. Some things I want to say with relatively high degree of confidence. I think we're going to well over 100,000 sometime this year. Could be towards the later part of the year, depending on when wave 4 finishes. And I don't think we get much below, if we even get there, this 29 area. Maybe we spike it into the 20s. That's possible. But I wouldn't even rate that as the most likely scenario. I think the most likely scenario is just a little bit more sideways chop in the triangle before we get going. So strategy here, I would say, unless you're really trying to capture some short-term aggressive moves, just accumulate wherever we are in this range. Keep accumulating and look to sell above 100,000 for that wave 5. And then after that, I think Bitcoin will probably have a very significant and time-consuming corrective move. And also keep in mind, like, we could really overachieve in wave 5 and be well over 200,000. Who knows? But I'm just trying to be realistic here, using the guidelines of the wave principle. Since wave 3 was the longest and clearly the most aggressive, in that scenario, when wave 3 is like that, you would look for wave 1 versus 5 to be similar or equal in magnitude. So that's where the targeting is coming from there. All right, hopefully that was helpful for someone out there. And certainly still overall bullish on Bitcoin, at least for a portion of this year, until we get into that wave 5 100K plus territory, and then certainly time to be looking for an exit strategy. All right, Serial Trader signing off.